Good morning. Do you want to be successful in your logistics? Do you want to make sure that everything is going to go smoothly from the beginning to the end and that your customers are going to get their deliveries on time? Then consider your integrated information systems, that they talk to each other and give you the relevant information, solid, good, reliable information. Think about your documents, because often if the documents don't bring the information through in the correct format, people are going to act on the wrong information. And make sure that there's good communication between your internal sales department, your warehouse, from your warehouse to your loading team, to your drivers, and even to your customer, because often a delivery can fall down at the customer end. And then think about reliable feedback, because if you do not get reliable feedback either from the warehouse manager or the loading team, the driver or the customer, you could think that things went well when there was a problem, or you may think that you're delivering at a particular time and you deliver at the incorrect time because there was a breakdown in communication or a breakdown in the chain. Each person in the chain of the process needs to understand their role. They need to understand their responsibilities. They need to understand the importance of their communication. But one of the biggest things that I noticed in my years of managing logistics supply chains was that often the person here in this position doesn't fully understand the next person in the process chain's needs, and so their outputs don't match the necessary inputs of the person who's next in the chain, and therefore it can cause glitches, it can cause errors, it can cause lack of information, documents not being correctly completed or filled out, can cause issues in your supply chain. So always make sure that you have a properly integrated interdepartmental process and system where the people understand that their outputs are the next person's inputs and what those need to be, and give them in the correct format in the way that the person that is next in the supply chain can use them effectively to deliver their part in the steps and the process to the delivery that makes the logistics ultimately successful. And then think about the considerations of safety. A lot of people take this for granted, but bear in mind that it can be a huge risk, and it can at the end of the day be a huge cost to you if you're not considering your safety all along the way. From the stairwell going from the office down to the warehouse being safe. I had a lady that was a qualified chemist who went down a stairwell, and the stairwell had a loose piece of welded sheet. It broke off, and she tripped down and she ripped all the tendons in her leg, and she was out of action for a number of months, and this caused major problems in the delivery to clients because her services were needed. Think about the load weights and how you distribute your weights on your axles. Think about what is going out on your full loads and what is coming back on your return loads and how they get loaded. And be fair in your timing expectations of your deliveries. Manage your clients' expectations, manage your internal sales and your warehouse, so that people understand what I'm going to do my best. I'm going to give it everything that I can, but what is the best that we can achieve? Obviously, we're always going to be trying to achieve more, but what is the best time that we can achieve? And then in our planning for deliveries and our promises to customers, be reasonable and fair in our timing, so we're not putting unreasonable expectations on people. They rush and then they make mistakes. Just yesterday, somebody close to me nearly took their finger off with a saw because they were rushing to finish a project, and they were tired and sore from having put this big structure together, and they thought, no, I'm just going to push quickly to get this last cut done, and slip of judgment, nearly took their finger off. And this happens in warehouses before. I've seen an entire shelving and racking system come down in a warehouse because a forklift driver was rushing, clipped the corner of the warehouse shelving and racking system at the wrong angle, and about 200 tons of material came crashing down. So we need always to be very mindful of how much time we give. So think about it. There's so much that we can do in our logistics to make it successful. For me, one of the biggest success factors is your integrated systems. Your integrated systems with your customers, your suppliers, with your cartage companies, with your storage companies, with your warehouse, and in your internal systems, your internal sales admin, your external sales reps, your senior management. You need to make sure that all of the touch points are working well, efficiently, reliably, and that your information systems are properly configured, and that the information that is coming out of them is relevant. Keep it simple. Often people ask for way too much information. You get information overload. You start working with big data and people get confused with what they're trying to be working with. So keep it simple. Keep it simple. But make sure that you've got your touch points between different departments and different steps in your process. It's clearly reported, easily visible in your information system, that you get relevant, reliable information out of it. One of the most successful things I ever implemented in a logistics process was to have the right tool for the warehouse to be able to click on and just pull relevant, short, quick reports and information for themselves to know and to plan and to work with their loads and work with what is coming in on the reorder processes when the reorder was done, so that they could plan what's coming in and what's going out, and they could be more efficient. Have a great day. Have successful logistics.